Yo, what's up, guys? So this is a part two to uh, the Polyend Mess. The first video I did was with the matriarch, and this one is going to be with the OB6. I also might just do one more as kind of like a final top off for my gear with the MS-20 and the Behringer Wasp. They both, the Wasp and the MS-20, kind of have a similar sound. I wouldn't say like an exact, but you can kind of get the same tones because they both have that like just really unforgiving filter that kind of distorts very easily. So uh, we're gonna get a really good feel for this unit today. I programmed just super simple, some sort of like trap inspired progression here, and I got on the mess. I have a just two sequences. I have a shaper and a filter, and it's just doing some simple, modulation. And I was like thinking about this. This is very similar. I wonder if these guys looked at like Effectrix, the plugin, and was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna make that into a pedal," because that's kind of pretty much what this is. Um, it's definitely cooler than Effectrix. It's just I don't know. It's kind of hard to make a bad sound with this. The effects are really clean and it just sounds good. It takes some dialing in, but for the most part, you're gonna be really happy with this unit no matter what. Um, and it's still on version 1. I need to check to see if there is a firmware update. There should be something coming soon. I'm sure people have reported bugs and stuff. So, yeah, without further ado, let me turn this off and we'll just listen to this dry. This is a very Oberheimy sounding lead, poly lead, I guess you could call it. You can really hear the filter working overtime on the OB6. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hit play. This is the next thing you hear is gonna be the polyend. It's everything's going routed through it. So, like I said, I have a shaper and a filter, just doing some simple modulation. Just a little rhythm, I got the low pass filter. I have it set the whole way down. I didn't put any resonance on it because it already has a decent amount of resonance already kind of chilling on it, and the exciter kind of really brings that out. Maybe not the best two effects to kind of get started, but let me go to a blank slate here. Okay, let's go to 1. Now, before where I kind of ended at was with some reverbs and delays on the last one, so we didn't really get to hear like the choruses too much, or the flangers or the vibratos and stuff like that. So I'm gonna kind of do that, and I'll play a little bit on the OB6 so we can hear it without like the rhythm, because some guys just want this for an effect box, just without the rhythm, which is fine, or without the sequencer. Some of these sounds, you have to dial in. You have to like just add. You gotta like kind of push them a little bit. This input knob is very important. You could have it down like 3-4% and it not touch the effect. But as soon as you bring the input in a little bit, then you can really start to hear it. And some of them will like distort quite nicely, actually. I really wish there was an output knob. That would be nice, so you could, boost with the input and then kind of, compensate. Maybe that will come with a firmware update or something, maybe. I don't know. Let's try a different patch. I'm going to turn the effects off when I do find something. Very thin sounding. I think it's on a high pass. Alright, so that one is called depth. Let's bring the depth knob. Very subtle. Let's try LED. So that's analog course LED. Let's bring the mod depth up. That's off. That's on. This is Psi. I guess maybe abbreviated for Psytrance or something, maybe. Come on, depth up. We are still in analog course. Let's bring the mod frequency down. Sounds crazy. This one is called River. It's still an analog course. This one's called Teen. Let's bring the mod depth up. I like to bring the depth up, and I like the mod frequency down low, usually. Ooh, that one might be a little bit too much. I love that. I am all for making spooky sounding beats. that with some reverb. Let's just kind of mix it up a little bit. Let's do a hall. Decay time. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to talk about that doesn't necessarily pertain to the Polyend, but I've talked about it before on my Facebook page, but I'm uploading this to YouTube, so I figured I might as well talk about it. I've accumulated a pretty decent amount of analog gear, and for the most part, I've been able to not really run into too many issues as far as like timing or syncing and stuff like that. I usually do all of my analog stuff first, but I'm starting to get to the point where I'll be making a track, have it kind of the CPU between like 50 to 100%, and I'm like, be nice to add a MS-20 line here with a synced delay or something, and it just sometimes it'll work and sometimes it will not, and it's all a timing and jitter thing, and anybody else that has a lot of analog gear knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I went ahead and purchased a EMS or I think it's EMS multi-clock. Before that, I purchased a RetroKits RK006, and that thing, it works, kind of. Obviously, it's if you don't have a pulse running through one of your outputs and then back into a clock, things aren't gonna work out good for you. At least if you have any type of CPU load, which I like to use a lot of plugins. My stuff's very plug-in driven. I like effects. I like automation. I like, being able to do stuff whenever I want to. So hopefully this fixes everything. I mean, for $600, if it doesn't, I'm going to be super pissed. Those things are not cheap, and I feel like if somebody like maybe Polyend could make something like similar to this effect box, and make it under $600, I think that they would be they would make a shit ton of money. That's for sure. Especially with this like build quality. Obviously, this pedal isn't very cheap either, but you know, if they could just kind of maybe make something a little bit smaller, save on some coin, and still put that type of feature in there. They obviously know what they're doing over there as far as like timing and making time-based effects and whatnot. So I don't know, just a thought. But yeah, that should be either in Monday or Tuesday, so it'll probably take me at least a week to kind of get things, everything ironed out. But right now, I just have everything connected up essentially to daisy chained along the line here, and then syncing it with my DAW, just like a normal way. But yeah, so let's get back to this. I actually just got in. They're called S-Trig. If you have a Korg MS-20 and a Moog Matriarch, or anything with V-Trig patching, you would know that you can't patch everything up with the MS-20, between the MS-20 and the Moog Matriarch, and like anything that needs like a trigger. Essentially, you need an S-Trig converter cable, which I got one of those. So I was thinking that maybe for the next video I can combine the Moog Matriarch and the MS-20 and kind of patch them both back and forth, and then kind of feed them through this whole entire effect chain, and that kind of be the grand finale. I can even incorporate the Behringer Wasp, even though that's kind of like the stepsister of the synth collection that I have. I got the thing on what's it called? MacBid for like super cheap. It was like $70 or something. I got it, and I was like, I'm like, I won't go over 100. So I ended up winning it. I mean, it's a great unit. I just don't really particularly care for Behringer, all like that. Let's do a new preset again, because I want to get through these courses. This is called this is a double tracker, and it's under Real. So I'm gonna guess that it's gonna have like a doubling effect. On the OB6, it's got a two section for you can have two effects, and they're digital effects, and most people hate them, but believe it or not, they're actually pretty good. The reverbs, not so much, but like I love the chorus. The distortion on it is just amazing. I almost put distortion on everything, like at least I put like 2 or 3%. But yeah, if I need a reverb or a delay, I kind of go other places for that. So that was Real. This is a Flanger. This is f-stop. pretty cool. This is Flanger. Some unison on here. This one's called Hungry. This one's called Overtone. Let's do Pottery. Robotron. Let's try a different patch. pack. It's got a good wide range, so we can really hear what's going on. That definitely sounds really cool. That's Robotron. This one's Water. Vintage. We are in the phaser group now. This one's called UAU. Definitely cool. Definitely cool. This is called Passenger. This one's a stereo course, and it's called Chorus. Got Easy. Do high feedback. me see something. What the hell's going on? Something's going on. Hold on. Alright. So we are still on phaser. And let's go to stereo course. I think we did these ones already. Let's do some tape modulation real quick. Chirp. This is chirp. This one is oil. This pedal was definitely made for this Oberheim. It just sounds so good. Even if you don't have a lot of outboard gear and you just use VSTs, I'm sure it's gonna sound just as good, if not better. You know, getting like something from like G-Force or Arturia and running it through it. Definitely has like an analog vibe to it. Like some of the stuff sounds digital, but yeah, for the most part, it can definitely sound like analog. This is the Tremolo unsynced. So there's a synced and then there's an unsynced, and the unsynced is kind of like, I'm pretty sure you can still use the step sequencer, but when you use the synced one, you can't hear the effect unless you have the sequence going. So I think it's just like you get two flavors, and if it's the same effect, but one's so you can play it just freely, and the other one's for the sequencer. Definitely sounds good. That's the sine wave. Here's the ramp up. Ramp down. Ooh, that's cool. Slower. Kind of has a delay. Let's see how far down it'll go. Okay, so it goes low enough it doesn't catch that. There we you go. So about 74 hertz, it starts grabbing a hold of the signal. Also very input. So that's the mix the whole way up. So you definitely need that, like, use this. Effect gain. Okay, so it has an amount, so you can still have the mix the whole way up for the other effects. Let's try square. This is exactly what I wanted this for. Stuff like this. Obviously, this is the unsynced one, but for synced stuff, if I wanted to have the matriarch, you know, just fall in line with what I'm playing, kind of like a VST, but still kind of get that analog, tactile vibe to it. You know, it's just nice. It's really nice. Let's go to the synced, and obviously you're not gonna be able to hear this until we start a sequence. So that's the synced one for the tremolo. Like I said, you have to have the sequence going for that sync to work. It would be kind of cool if you could be able to use it without having the sequence like running. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Well, I guess it would work still, because if you're recording it, which you would be anyways, as soon as you hit start, it's gonna start that sequence anyways. So yeah, it's just tough. It's such a tough thing, because sometimes you just want the sequence, and then other times you don't want this sequence, but you're kind of stuck. You know, some of them, I don't know. You definitely gotta like fiddle with it a little bit. So, but still an amazing machine. All right, let's see. Let's go. We are in the granular section here. So this is granular burst, and this is portrait. We got the density 35, the shape at 70, and the size at 67. So I'm gonna let's do the mix. Let's bring the mix down a little bit, and let's do the sequence speed 1. We're not gonna do the sequence just yet. Let's just let's do the density the whole way down. Bring the density up. Let's bring the size down. Change the shape. We'll bring the shape down. tone to it. Let's try fragments. Let's tune it down 12. I like tuning my stuff in octaves, especially if I'm like playing something. Like if I was probably making a sequence with this, it'd be cool to have like some of the pitching effects and then adding some of this granular stuff, and you could probably come up with some pretty crazy like sequences. Maybe I'll try something towards the end here. I only got about 15 minutes left. I want to keep this under an hour. Blur. Let's do it normal. Let's do a fifth. Density up. Let's bring the tune up 12. Let's do 24. Ooh. Change the shape. The shape was at 100%, so let's go. That is dope. That is some like, that's some spooky shit there. That is so cool. Let's try blast. Be cool to have like one of these tuned down 12, and then we'll try that. So we got this one tuned down 12, and then let's bring in another one. Do blur. Let's try something. Yeah, so just like that, man. Super fire. Let's do like 2 more, and then I'm gonna just try to pick, because there's still like a decent amount left. Not really. There's granular. The last of the granular verse is flux, and then let me get a new preset. Sometimes the preset doesn't clear. Shit. Yeah, see, it's not clearing. Alright, let's try this again. Reset. Reset. There we go. Yeah, sometimes it kind of like, it doesn't exit it out. I don't know if I might be doing it wrong. Who knows? Okay. Particle sampler. Let's just do, we'll finish up with some particle sampler. So this one's flux, and this is kind of like a granulizer also. It's just a different name, and I'm sure it probably kind of sounds pretty different. Okay, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. Which would be nice to have something where you can get it to stop. See, because I don't really see what the purpose of having something go on and on like that. Like, you should just be able to have, like, a hold. Like, I don't know. Like, tap the mix button or something. No, but you can't tap the mix button. Tap the tempo maybe twice or something. I don't know. There's some way to do it. Touch the sequence in the first and the last one or something. I don't know. Something. So it doesn't like... This is scatter. Zero mix. So that's scatter. This is noisy. Super dope. Capsize. Let's do boop, 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 boop. That's cool. And scanner. Let's do this. Let's do the same thing. So that is scanner, recursor. Let's do every other one for this one. I need to get my sequence game up, like as far as because I don't like that like dubsteppy, you know, stuff, but. Yeah, so that's recursor, and that's it. Like I said, I would you know, give you the full effect of like the OB6 and the Polyend Mess, and hopefully I swayed you either one way or the other. You know, to be honest with you, I kind of hope a lot of people don't buy it. No offense to Polyend, I just kind of like want the effects to myself. Selfish like that, whatever. No, but yeah, like it's just gonna get better because I believe in Polyend. I'm gonna be buying more products from them. This just proves that they, like, for me anyways, that they have a solid build product. And you know, I could have got this thing and it could have been a lot of things could have not been working, and I would have kind of understood because of how fast they were kind of like getting things moving from one pedal to the next. I would have been understandable, and as long as it was like firmware stuff. But there's very little things that are wrong with this pedal. I like and the things that I think that are wrong are probably just my error. So just keep that in mind whenever you're spending that, you know, what you think is a lot of money, and like how much you're getting out of one pedal, dude. Like an insane amount of effects, and a sequencer. I think that's what it's called, a sequencer, right? I always think of a sequencer as being able to change pitch. So transgate, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is a sequencer. I mean, I guess technically you can sequence different pitches of notes. But I'm gonna shut up. Like I said, if you can just find it in your heart to throw a like or a comment, you know, I would definitely appreciate that. I know these videos are long and I don't edit them. I am such a busy person that I just don't have time to do that stuff yet. If I would get like more people, I guess, on my page, I'd probably try to squeeze it in, but I'm just so low on the totem pole right now. It's almost better for me to just get out as much stuff as I can, and hope that people can kind of see the potential in me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and hopefully you got something out of this. And if you want a one last video, maybe with like the whole shebang, I'll do like all the pedals and then kind of mix the matriarch and the MS-20 together and kind of like get some like crazy ass sounds out of it. Maybe I will wrap them up and throw them in a Dropbox link so you can download them. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'll catch you guys. Peace.